Is everyone all right?
We fortified the captives with what magics we could. Have the defenses been disabled? All appears quiet for the moment.
The lower floors were disturbing enough, but this place feels wrong. The ether is heavy and thick, like wading through a quagmire.
I believe we stand in the tower's beating heart. What sayest thou, Ishtola?
I see it. Ether siphoned from the land runs up through the spire, flowing to a single point. This is the core we seek.
Of course it is.
Yet something is off. As large as this structure is, it siphons far more ether than is required to sustain it. 'Tis as if the core is feeding on the energy, consuming it. I need to take a closer look. Curious. There is something there embedded inside the core. A man's limb.
This is what we came to destroy?
Yes, if you would be so kind.
Destroyed.
And that should be the end of it.
What now?
My theory that the tower might come crashing down following the core's destruction doth appear to be correct.
Bully for you! And how are we supposed to survive the fall?
So the tower is dissolving.
What of the prisoners below?
The floor beneath our very feet dissolves. Brace yourselves!
I pray I'm not too late.
We appear to be fine. I think.
Oh, what happened? Where are we?
By my reckoning, we're still on the island where the tower stood. But 'tis as if it never existed. Hardly a scratch. But how?
Graha wove a levitation spell at the last moment. Large enough to catch everyone, it would seem.
Graha casting the old school float.
That explains the lack of obvious injuries.
The expenditure of so much ether has taken its toll. He will need plenty of rest, but should otherwise be none the worse for wear.
Good man. Thanks, Graha.
Then the immediate problem is what to do with our new friends here. They'll be much changed for their time in the tower. Even if their bodies are intact, I doubt we could say the same for their minds.
Angelo and I will take care of that.
I have every faith in you, Alize, but there are just too many for you to treat alone.
We'll send at once to Eorzea for more Porksies, and call on the local mages to lend a hand.
Hail, Scions! We were watching the tower when it simply disappeared. What happened here?
The threat is banished, and thy people delivered. They are, however, in need of treatment, and we of a secure locale and helping hands to assist us in its provision.
You shall have all this and more. Come, let us convey these unfortunate souls to the city.
You know, but with so many people, they probably need to first end up in a prison, because if it takes time to untemper them, they might wake up in the time. And when they're tempered, they are not to be trusted. Right. Ah, you have returned. As suddenly as the tower disappeared, we were gravely concerned for you and yours. I'm glad to see that all is well. On behalf of the people of Azatan, I give you my heartfelt thanks. Oh, carrying all those Matanga may have been the true struggle. The liberated prisoners are being transported to Azatan for treatment. Alice and Yestola will oversee the administration of a tempering treatment, with support of those who know a healing spell or two. We'll go and join them in the city once you've had a moment to catch your breath. And we can now do it as trust. Good. And I guess with that, I say welcome back to Final Fantasy 14, right? Yeah, we just ended the Tower of Zot and freed its prisoners, and let's see how we continue. Had enough rest, have you? You never were one for being idle. Right, Varshan bade us come to Megaduta at our earliest convenience. The others will join us there once we have finished tending to the prisoners. Ah wait, on second thought, you and Estinian should go on ahead. I need to make a quick detour by the great work. I left Gra in the alchemist's care. You see, best to fetch him before he is cramped into a specimen jar. Just you and me then. The guardsman at the gate should wave us through. Oh, I am somewhat curious if you can actually find Gra at the Great Works, but I'm a bit too lazy to look for him now. So if you know, if he's there right now, tell me in the comments. With a tower gun, I expect that the state of alert will be lifted. Ah, Honored Science, you are free to enter at your leisure. I cannot leave my post, I'm afraid. You must make your own way. Should you require directions from the city, the sentry station at the fountain atop the steps should be glad to assist you. Though I've been to Razatan before, the place is a veritable maze. Rather than risk getting lost, we'd best ask for directions from the sentry at the fountain. Lead the way and don't expect me to act as your tour guide like certain others. Estinian is now accompanying you. So, the first proper visit in the city. Ethernet shots. All the good stuff. Okay, where's the sentry in front of a fountain? Name of a fountain? No idea. Do fountains normally have names? Ah, Mrs. Wesley, I presume. I understand you're here for an audience with a satrap. If you require directions to Megaduta, I should be glad to provide them. The satrap's residence is situated in Dharma, the highest part of Razatan. To get there, I would ordinarily recommend a route that takes you by the bazaar in the city's north. Due to the state of alert, however, most businesses are currently closed and the Aetheryte disabled. As such, I will provide you with an alternate path. First, please ascend to the steps next to this fountain and then continue left. There will be more steps, and upon ascending them, you will emerge on Paxa's path. Proceed through the large door at the right and you will arrive at Ruveda's Fibers. Within you will find another sentry who will give you further guidance. In other words, we head up. Sounds straightforward enough. You have a sentry. We head up. Discuss the sumptuous portal. Ah yes, I know about this portal. It leads to a nearby isle, the treasure vault of one of Razatan's wealthiest families. They took a god of luck for their guardian, on account of which they occasionally open up a section of their vaults, for aspiring treasure hunters to try their own luck, or so they say. There are also coffers hidden around the land that act as portals. Find one, and you gain access to the vault. Ah. Something to bear in mind in case you exhaust your funds while on the road. It is a troublesome experience that I can personally attest. Yeah, this is one of the treasure dungeons. Specifically the one for Stormblood. So when you open for an expansion the endgame treasure maps, that is for several players, you sometimes get a portal that leads to these treasure dungeons. And this is one for the Stormblood endgame treasure chests. You can do Megaduta, are you? In that case, please follow the hallway to my right and go through the door at the top of the stairs. You emerge at the entrance to the airship landing. The another sentry should be on hand to assist you. Incidentally, if you ascend the steps to either side of me, you will find the workshops of Ruveda's Fibers. Though you are free to observe the artisans, take care not to lose their way. Yeah, and as the first sentry said the main Aetheryte is currently disabled, so no point going there. Ah, Tavnarian V. Hard to imagine more vibrant stuff. I dare say Emmerich would be partial to the gold thread. And the blue, of course. He loves his blue. That he does. I've never put much thought into what I wear. A spare set of clothing is usually all I carry. And if that's not enough, I can always obtain something locally. Quite an ordeal to get to the satrap's residence. It could stand to be a more obvious route, like the one to the vault or Kugane Castle. But in times of crisis, at least it's well defended. It's well defendable, right? Although, considering how many paths there are, probably not. And the airship docks. If you're here for an airship, I'm afraid all flights have been suspended until further notice. So the state of alert is still in effect. Perhaps it's for the best. But aside, we're not here for an airship. We have business at Megaduta. Oh, in that case, permit me to direct you. From here, it's quite simple, really. Ascend these steps and then continue straight ahead and across the bridge. You cannot miss it. I remember passing by here with Varshan. The situation being what it was, he regretted not being able to show us the sights. Life has yet to return to normal here, and when it does, you ought to pay another visit. Though the city is confusing, the food is quite good. I'm partial to Hamza myself. The meat's surprisingly tender and flavorful. Hamza does not like us talking about eating it. Confusing as it is, you'd think they intended to make a maze out of Razatan. Hugane was flat at least. If you became lost, you could head to higher ground and get the lay of the land. And there's an attendant. Greetings and welcome to Megaduta. May I inquire after your business? We are members of the Science of the Seventh Dawn, come at the invitation of His Excellency. Of course. We've been expecting you. I will show you into the audience chamber. If you would please follow me. And there are the last two.
Are we the last to arrive? I hope we've not kept you waiting.
Not at all. Your comrade is feeling better, I trust.
Much better, thank you. Harness remedies are certainly potent, in more ways than one.
One becomes accustomed to the taste, although I hope you never have cause to do so. Pray, take your ease.
Full glad I am to see you all unharmed.
Thanks to you.
Valiant scions, for your heroism, you have my boundless gratitude. You cast down that dire tower and set free its hapless captives. You cleanse their souls of its corrupting influence. No words of thanks will suffice. In place of platitudes, I offer a bounty of warding scales. Pray accept your due reward, along with the goodwill of Razatan.
Alchemists throughout the land were put to work in the forging of your talismans. The finished ones have been collected, and now await you at the High Crucible of Alchemia. Present this letter when you are ready to take them into your possession.
We are humbled by your generosity. Know that the inventive wisdom of Radzat Han will be vital in restoring serenity to our star.
Every single one of those scales came from you, didn't they? You must still be in such pain.
I think they mentioned that the older and more powerful the dragon is, the stronger the scales become. And so they, of course, took the oldest dragon they had. One of the first brood. Mitra. Raw.
'Tis of no moment. A mere annoyance compared to the dreadful suffering inflicted upon this land and its people.
Well, if you say so.
Albeit brief, my involvement in the Dragonsong War afforded me a glimpse of the myriad sorrows which consumed both dragon and man. Though you were half a world away, such tragedies as befell your kin must have affected you deeply. And yet, you chose to live among men.
In the age when that conflict first bloomed, my choice had already been made. In some distant place, man slew dragon, and dragon slaughtered man. Yet no hate could I muster for those smiling faces which did look to me for guidance. Not even my brother's righteous rage could rally me to his cause. I huddled here, secret and still, hoping against hope that which I had built would remain untouched by the chaos and carnage.
Twould seem we share the same desire for peace, great Vritra. To that end, I wonder if we might trouble you with another question. The Telophoroi are intent on recreating the final days, an apocalyptic event which we know to predate the sundering of the star. As the longest lived among us, know you aught of this terrible cataclysm?
Nay. When war and strife drove my sire from his home, he crossed the great expanse with only our unhatched eggs as company. He alighted upon a shattered source, its 13 reflections long since scattered beyond the rift. Of events preceding his arrival, he knoweth naught, save that which Hydralin hath deigned to disclose.
I see. So again, 'tis the inscrutable Hydaelyn to whom you must look for answers.
Seek you to divine the will of this star? If so, I have a tale which may afford you some small comfort. 'Tis a story from my youth, many years ago. To my sire, I once posed the question, of all the stars in the sky, why didst thou settle upon this one? To which Midgardsormr did reply, 'twas the last bastion of hope. He believed so long as Hydaelyn endured, so too might dragonkind. Solemn and portentous were his words. What deeper meaning they held, I could not, dared not pursue. 'Tis a stone I've left unturned ever since. Yet take you solace in the knowledge that whatsoever Hydaelyn does strive towards, 'tis an ideal which hath earned my sire's conviction.
Thank you, Vritra. You've given us warm reassurance in a world gripped by cold uncertainty.
So, Midgard so much trust the title in.
While I'm sure we all have a great many questions, I think it's time we collect the talismans and be on our way. Our fight against the Telophoroi is far from finished.
We must take our leave, but please do inform us if we can provide any further assistance.
Prithee, a moment.
Yes?
There is one whom my sire hath judged worthy of honor and respect. The one known to men as Eorzea's champion. This hero of renown and rumor, 'tis thee.
I suppose so. I only wish he could be with us now.
I know of his clash with Omega, and the long slumber which was his price. Yet even closed in sleep, my father's eyes are far from blind. He is watching over thee, watching over this world. 'Twas a revelation most pleasing that thou, a child of man, had gained Midgardsormr's trust, but alongside mine elation runneth a rivulet of dread. For upon thy life's reel wind too many threads of fate, power, wheel enmeshed with woe. Amidst this tangled knot thou shalt know no rest. 'Tis an endless confluence of forces, a struggle without surcease. More terrible still is the attrition wrought upon thy companions, as they are swept up in the storm of thine existence.
Those we have lost.
Take heart and protect them well. They will be your strength and your salvation. The hope thou wilt need come the end. Even cowering behind my curtain, I know the suffering of the powerful. I have watched my siblings driven mad by loss. Thus do I exhort thee to spare no effort to keep thy loved ones safe.
Apologies. We hadn't meant to interrupt.
It's just that we do have a history of suddenly collapsing, and when you didn't follow us out...
True enough.
'Tis I who must apologize. I have detained your champion overlong with idle chatter. Go. At war's end, I pray I welcome thee back into my hall, where together with thy joyful comrades, you may toast your triumph.
Whilst you have no idea what we're talking about. Fine. We have, okay. Our apologies again. I hope we did not force you to conclude your conversation prematurely. So what were you and Vitra talking about? Nothing? Very well, if you say so. The others have gone ahead to the High Crucible. Let's catch up to them. Let's do that. I think next time. Until next time then, I'm Ace, and don't get lost.